Welcome to another episode of In the Green Room, your favorite podcast. I am Brittany Shanae, your favorite podcaster, and if I'm not, I know I'm gonna be. So, as you can see, we're here for another episode, and I am not here by my lonesome. I got this beautiful lady right beside me, Shelby, aka Mary D, on the ones and twos and on the creativity juices and whatever words that I'm trying to say. Thank you so much for coming and sitting here and talking and chatting and being my friend and loving on me and all of that good stuff. Welcome to the Green Room.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me and also loving me and being my friend.
Yes, since sixth grade.
Listen,
we was in Miss King homeroom together, weren't we? Or we was in language arts together. I don't know if we was in the same homeroom. I got a pretty good memory. We were definitely in Miss King's sixth grade language arts class. Because I remember, because it was an hour and a half, and we spent a lot of time with those people in language arts.
I don't even remember the teachers' names. I don't. Every time we talk about, do you remember this teacher? The only one I remember, and I don't even remember her name, Miss Forrester, I think.
Miss Fortson?
Miss Fortson. That's like only like academic teacher.
Were you traumatized?
Probably.
Wow.
I think we have some
nah, we went through a lot at that old school.
At that old school.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But we met some beautiful people.
Most definitely.
I met this beautiful girl.
Likewise.
Man.
Sang with.
Man.
Created with.
Man.
Like, it's been history.
Nah, for real. I can't wait to get into all of that.
Most definitely.
But y'all know what the first thing is here on In the Green Room, the affirmation station. Woo! Okay, so y'all know we have two different decks of affirmation cards. These are the Transcend Beauty cards, and I broke my nail after the Beyonce show, so don't talk about me, okay?
Listen, you were putting in good work.
So the first deck is the Transcend Beauty deck by Danessa Myris, one of my favorite makeup artists. And this second deck is called I Am Everything. So both are affirmation decks. I like to pull these affirmation cards at the beginning of every episode and give the creative that's sitting next to me an opportunity to pull their card. This is our affirmation that will sit with us for the entire week until the next episode. So whatever we pull, make sure you write it on your mirror. Anytime you walk past your mirror, anytime you see your reflection, anytime you feeling up, anytime you feeling down, say it to yourself. There's no better way to make yourself better than to affirm yourself. So let's get it started. So I'm gonna shuffle up the first deck. Spaghetti-O.
Yes.
Took it bite. I never thought that I would get used to myself without nails.
Yeah.
But now having nails is a little different for me. Cause I only do the press-ons now. This is an actual set.
Oh yeah, no, I'm team. If you see me with nails, ask, girl, where are you going? What you got going on?
Got something to do.
You must have something to do.
Got something to do.
But your press-ons are fire.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go. So I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly.
Effortlessly.
We're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Definitely the abundance.
Yes.
Yes. I love this.
In the Green Room.
I love this.
All right, so let's see what our second affirmation is going to be. That's a good one. I actually have that one on my mirror. I say that to myself every single day.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that.
Because my work that I've been doing lately is breaking down that the mentality of lack and the scarcity mindset.
Yep.
So that's an affirmation that will definitely help combat it because it's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of a scarcity mindset. I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly.
And I also think a lot of times when I think about the scarcity mindset and what we hear about it, it's just from a financial aspect.
But
and I remember having the realization that like scarcity mindset can apply to even people, opportunities, and moving through life with that mindset that abundance is around me and I will attract what I'm meant to attract. That'll be people, that's opportunities. So dimming somebody else's light is not needed. My light can shine with everybody's light because whatever I'm meant to attract is already for me.
Always.
And it's coming my way. So I love that. I love that.
Always and always. That's my new little saying.
I like
always that. And always. All right. So y'all saw me shuffle the second deck. Let's see what your second affirmation is going to be. Dum, dum, dum.
All right. I am grateful. I realize what is right about my life outnumbers what I perceive to be wrong about my life. I choose to focus on what makes me feel good. I am grateful.
What I perceive
to be wrong about my life.
Perception.
Yeah. Is
perception.
Everything. I needed that yesterday.
And it came right on time. Just let you know.
Attracting.
No, for real, like it's so important to shift your focus to what you're grateful on when you are going through.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard for doubt, fear. I mean, it's so easy for doubt, fear, questioning, all of the negative emotions. Once they sink in, it's so hard to get them things out. So if the moment you feel a little bit of doubt, the moment you feel a little bit of fear, you automatically bring up a thought of something that you're grateful for, you done already won the battle. Like, you got to make sure that you shift your focus and your perception onto what is good, not the stuff that appear to be bad.
That's a life hack.
Man.
That's a life hack.
Because all of the things that appear to be bad, you're always being redirected. It's so much power in the redirection if you just surrender to the redirection. But we gonna talk about that. Our affirmations of the day are what?
I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly. I am grateful. I realize what is right about my life outnumbers what I perceive to be wrong about my life. I choose to focus on what makes me feel good. I am grateful. Yes. Write these on your mirror for the next week. Yeah, we're going to live this.
Yeah.
We're going to live this.
Welcome to another episode of In the Green Room. I can't wait to share this conversation with y'all. Sit back, relax, and take some notes.
Most definitely.
I got at least 30 cards. But no, I went back and looked at, after I wrote the last few words in the journal last night, I went back to the first page. Well, the first page, it was like, let me just jot something down so I can get it started. Yeah. I think I said something like, and I don't normally share, but it was something so basic. I was like, performing at Apache tonight.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then I skipped the page and then the journaling started. And it's so funny because I thought my life was going to be so different. And it was only like 2.5 months ago. Like the things that I said in that entry and how much it shifted and how much I actually see that I was talking about surrendering to whatever the situation was and surrendering to God. And I really had not done that at all.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I thought I had, as much as I was talking about it, and as much just I thought that I was there.
Yeah.
Last night was the 13th, and yesterday was the 13th, right? Or today's the 13th?
Today is the 13th. Yesterday was the 12th.
Okay, I wrote it at like 1:00, so I remember writing 8:13.
Yeah.
But I realize now that I've actually surrendered. Like, from even the tone of my voice in the writing, like was completely different from what it was back at the beginning of whenever my first journal entry was May.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I'm sure that if I read it like a book, I'll be able to see
Just
the progress and the
transformation.
Man, journaling is so like
another life hack.
What?
Another life hack.
No, for real, because we think about so many things throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like our brain comes up, it's thousands of thoughts that we come up with in a day. And at the end of the night, instead of, now I do look at my phone. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but instead of scrolling on Instagram, writing in my journal and getting all of those thoughts and not going into a new day looking at somebody else's thoughts or looking at somebody, just emptying everything. I sometimes my hand be starting to cramp sometimes.
Listen, my journal, I tried to change how I write in my journal in this, like my newest journal, and it's caused me to like slow down with writing, but sometimes I have to like default back to, especially if I'm in a stream of consciousness space where it's like, all right, we just got to get it out. Like, let's just write as quickly as we can. But something that I love, and I remember seeing this as a suggestion for like a morning ritual or routine, is actually something called morning pages. Especially if you're somebody who dreams, remembers your dreams, and like it's fresh when you first wake up. And even if it's not that you remember your dreams, just whatever your thoughts when you first wake up, just waking up and like writing out everything that you think about before you enter into the day. And, you know, we're dealing with life. And I think it's good to also do that at night. But I remember at first approaching journaling like, it has to be a full page. Like kind of like Dear Diary today.
Like Moesha Lamb.
And I remember seeing one of my friends have like what is it? Like the Cosmo, like the book, the notebooks we used to use in school. That have like the marble. She had like a tiny one in her car. And so we're going somewhere and she literally opens up the middle console, takes out this tiny book, and she writes like 2 sentences and puts it away. And I was like, what is that? She's like, oh, it's my journal. And I was like, but you didn't write a full page. Like it wasn't a whole Dear Diary. She's like, well, I just had 2 sentences on my mind. So I just wrote those 2 sentences. Out. Forever changed how I journal. So some days I have 2 full pages, 3 full pages of just thoughts. And some days it's just as simple as a sentence. There's like, this has been on my mind all day. And now I can like efficiently get it out versus it being just a entire monologue.
It don't have to be that. I think welcome to In the Green Room. We didn't already got straight into it. I mean, when you know you've been friends with somebody so long, you just get to talking and get to talking and get to talking. I want to finish this up and then we're going to get to who you are and all of that stuff. But I wanted to say, welcome to In the Green Room. We're talking about journaling and all of that good stuff, as I'm sure you can hear. I think that, journaling is a life hack for so many people in so many different lifestyles and so many belief systems, because I feel like journaling is great for people who are opposed to therapy. Because a lot of people that are opposed to therapy, they don't know how to talk through whatever they're going through. And then they don't trust us telling it to somebody else and yada, yada this, yada, yada that. With a journal, nobody else has to ever read it. After you get done with a journal, you know what you can do? You can burn it. You can throw it away. You can shred it. You can do whatever. But I think it's so important. I think crime would be lower. I think we would have more creatives. I think that people wouldn't choose as many people wouldn't choose a life of crime if they had somewhere to escape. And I think what journaling does is, first of all, like you said, stream of consciousness. A lot of people don't know what stream of consciousness is. I know I learned about stream of consciousness 7th grade when we read Catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield. This book
is hard to read.
Man, Holden Caulfield is a psychopath.
Listen.
But it would be dialogue or just regular story. And then suddenly Holden Caulfield would just, whatever was on his mind, whatever it would just flow out. And I think that, like you said, people think that journaling is Dear Diary.
Or
Today I saw,
poem.
I saw Johnny Appleseed and he did blah, blah, blah. Girl, if you woke up and you stumped your big toe and that pissed you off, and then you got in the shower and you dropped the soap and blah, 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 and yada, yada, but you had a good breakfast, you went to Starbucks, somebody paid it forward, you got to work, you had a great conference call, you got to promote. You see how all of this random shit is just flowing out of, that's what stream of consciousness is.
Yeah.
And to your point, if you don't have the energy to write out everything that happened to you in that particular day, and it's just one thought that's been on your mind, write that. That's it.
And sometimes it's not even writing. Voice memos?
Yes, voice memos
is another good hack.
Yes, I know so many people. I think you were one of the people that told me you do that. I have a homegirl. She's a photographer. She said she might turn hers into a podcast.
Yeah.
I know somebody that they journal. They have a notes in their phone where it's just jots of thoughts. And also they do the voice memos.
Yep.
I think that it's important for us to get it out, get it off our chest, let it be free. Because a lot of times for creatives, if it's an idea, get that out. Because who was I talking to last episode? I was talking to my homegirl, and she was like, sometimes creatives get these ideas and then we're like, oh, we'll write it down later, or we'll do the voice memo later, or no, that needed to get out at that moment, because you're going to try to revisit it and it is not going to be anywhere near your creative thought process. And then you're going to be pissed off.
And especially for creatives, I think we have to really honor the spaces of release.
Yes.
We have to allow ourselves to release. And this was my voice memo last night, because I was going through the week feeling like off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, why do I feel off? And I realized part of the reason was because I didn't actually make time and space to actually create in the week, and allowing myself to release. And sometimes release isn't actually releasing it to the public. Yeah. It's just getting it out of this vessel and getting it out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Although I do feel like there is a certain level of accountability for creatives to hold ourselves to release it, to help each other.
Right.
Which we'll talk through. But yeah, I literally thought about that last night, where it's like, you can try to adulting, and I always say, like, life be lifing, and we'll get so lost in just keeping up with, all right, I got to go to work, I got to feed myself, I got to go to the gym, I got to do all these other things. But you actually have to make the spaces to release in whatever way that you find is necessary. Yeah.
Journal.
And I am an advocate of therapy.
Yeah.
I feel like if I could give therapy as a gift to everyone, I would. But I remember going through my journey of a lot of self-care, or a lot of self-healing, before I decided to say, let me actually bounce this off somebody, just to make sure it's got a proper bandage on it. So journaling was a big part of that for me. The gym and working out was a big part of that for me. But one of the terms that I learned in therapy is this concept called catharsis. Have you heard of catharsis?
I've used the word before, but what does it mean?
So to me, how I interpret it,
cathartic, not catharsis. So,
but same concept, where it's it can be painful to talk through things that hurt you, trauma, anything that you like are typically holding in, you know what I'm saying? It can be hurtful to actually release it and to get it out. But once you do it, it's kind of like pouring alcohol on a wound.
It hurts so good.
It hurts so good. It's like, oh my God, that felt really good to release.
It's almost like an immediate, it might not be immediate. It might not be immediate, but the effects of just letting it go. Woo! Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely like pouring some alcohol or some peroxide on it, because it's gonna bubble, it's gonna fizz, it's gonna burn, but then it heals.
And then it feels like, oh my God, I'm so happy I just went ahead and bore the 30 seconds of pain to have a lifetime of healing. You know?
Man, listen, the work is actual work, but the work is worth it.
I love that.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to this episode of In the Green Room. I thank you so much for coming. I know you.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I know you since the 6th grade. Then high school, middle school, high school. College career here. Tell the people who you are. Like, and however you want to tell the people who you are. It doesn't matter what you want to focus on. I give people full freedom. Who is Shelby?
Mary D.
AKA Mary D.
Yes. So I am Mary D, AKA Mary Domino. That is a great question of who I am. I definitely identify as a businesswoman.
Okay. First.
And a creative. Together. Most definitely together. I am a lover of music, a lover of my people, my tribe, my community. I'm all about kindness and grace and giving people grace. I am about self-care and self-care in all its forms. Wellness, taking care of yourself, that's been a journey. But I think that is definitely how I would describe myself in a nutshell. Because, you know, there's so many different aspects to myself. It really just depends on which part we talk about.
Right. And that's why I was like, tell me whatever you want, because I understand that pretty much, everybody that I invite to this podcast is a multi-talented creative. They have so many different doors and umbrellas and extensions and tentacles and all of that stuff. So that's why I like asking, who are you? Because I want you to give us who you are in however this space makes you feel. And I feel like that was a good description, because definitely business and creative. Definitely that. Like, you handles, Shelby, excuse me, Mary D. See,
is that adjustment?
Right. Excuse me, Mary D. Nah, for real. But I have always known you from middle school to be somebody that's going, weren't you president of
like everything?
Exactly. But I've always known you as somebody who, all right, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. I would love to hear your input. I would love for us to work together, but this is how it's going to get executed. Like, execution.
That is
execution. Like, if you need something to get done, this is your girl.
I got you.
Like, and I'm so blessed, because I have so many friends that do so many different things, and they're so different, but it's all cohesive. Like, we can come together and we could potentially have an amazing event or weekend or week or whatever because of all of the different people that do all of the different things, and we all come together and we make it happen.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Our community really started like decades ago.
Yeah, it did.
And I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah,
it's amazing how it's coming together. Like that's really when you realize like people from who you mingled with growing up really turned into family.
Yeah.
It's like when you go apart and then you reconnect over 10 years later, and it's like we were just together yesterday.
Right.
And it's almost like just a warm hug from your mom. Like, oh my God, where have you been? Yeah. It has been a hard 10 years. And I'm so happy that here I can find rest and I can also just be myself. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished as sometimes I think we feel when we meet people out now. And I love how you mentioned about like, you don't have to like code switch. Because one of the things that I know I committed to, so one facet of myself is I am a senior business ops manager for a Fortune 500 company. We won't say which one. But that experience being in like corporate America, that style of business, especially being a Black woman, it's this feeling of walking into rooms that are predominantly white and predominantly are white male and feeling the like pressure to conform in order to make everyone in the room
feel comfortable.
So one of the things I adopted about like 6 years ago when I first got into this position is I committed to myself that I'm gonna be professionally authentic. And I
love that.
You know, because I think we talk through like, oh, you have to be professional. You have to be professional. And I think when you just say that, there is an aspect of code switching that comes with that, especially for Black people, you know, that I just said, I was like, you know, any room that I'm supposed to be in, anything that I'm supposed to attract, I will attract it because I'm going to be myself, you know, and that's hard sometimes to remind yourself, to allow yourself to be different in different spaces, you know?
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of our core group of family.
Come on.
Like, I don't think any of us have to ever go into a room and change who we are.
Yeah.
We are appreciated. We are honored in a way. We are taken care of for being our truest self. Like it's so beautiful. That to go a little, that's why I love Beyonce so much, because Beyonce is unapologetically Black for any crowd. It doesn't matter about whether she'll get a deal with, but I mean, she's clearly at that level in her career.
Right.
But think about how inspirational that is to people that are looking at her that want to become like her. Little Black girls, any girl.
Yeah.
Like when she performed, I wasn't supposed to go here. Let's bring it back and then we can talk about it later. But I love the term that you tell me what it is again.
Professionally authentic.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I encourage my team to be professionally authentic because I manage a lot of and help promote and grow professional careers for us. And that's the one thing I am adamant about, because I'll never forget one of my interviews. My mentor, and I love her dearly at the time, I wanted to go into the interview with my fro. And she was like, I know you want to, but we're not going to do that because you have to ... And I did it. And I remember going through that process like, but this is not me. Who I am It's very much, you never know what you're gonna get with the hair. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it's a part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And not wanting to like perpetuate that message.
Yeah.
So I'm very clear with all of my mentees that, hey, I want you to show up in the room as yourself.
Yep.
And of course we can, refine it a little bit.
Right.
But if you are a fro, you're a fro. If you're a weave, you're a weave.
Yeah.
If you're bald and beautiful, come on, show up as yourself.
Be who you are.
Be who you are.
For your pride.
Because everybody's going to most spaces will try to make you like conform.
Yep.
So that they're comfortable.
Yeah. So that they're comfortable.
Right.
And your comfort ain't got nothing.
You will be so uncomfortable just to make other people comfortable.
Listen, and I refuse. So let's take it back to your childhood. I know you love music. You play the piano.
Yep.
You produce. You're a photographer. You throw parties. You are a senior ops, this title for a Fortune 500 company.
Yes.
When you were growing up, did you want to pursue the creative side more than did you want to be more right brain or did you want to be more left brain? Like, what were your goals and your aspirations as little Shelby? And then obviously you had to want to do something in the creative field if you ended up at Davidson.
Yeah.
Right. So what were your passions growing up and how have they shifted? What were you able to feed? Are you still feeding or looking to feed any of those that you've not been able to feed? Like, what was that like growing up?
Oh my gosh. Listen, this is about to be an hour. Growing up, music was always the creative activity of choice.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
Still passionate, still play my piano. I remember starting the piano and it was almost very Jackson 5 like in my house. I'm so serious. Where I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to do the work that came with it, which I think is, normal for a lot of kids. And my dad was very much like, you're going to play this piano.
Got it.
And it really wasn't like, it was more compliance than it was like passion in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I actually got to our school and I saw a particular young gentleman playing, and he played so good that I was like, oh, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And I practiced like morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
And it turned into really like what we talked about, like that release where I would feel like I wasn't even in the room, playing.
Yeah.
So going into college, I didn't go through like the music education route.
Okay.
Like I thought to, but I ended up doing the music business route.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
Yes, I did the music business route. And I thought at one point in time, I was an intern for a music company in Atlanta. I won't put them out. But I was an intern for a music company in Atlanta, but it was very much like interning, but I was actually the assistant to about 4 executives. Yeah, it was actually 6 because it was 3 in Atlanta, 1 in New York, 2 in LA. And I was getting paid intern dust at this point. Girl.
6. Okay, go ahead.
But I learned a lot in that
sure.
experience, but it was tough to like walk away from that because one of the things that I normally describe it how I think sometimes in life we go through periods of we see the light and then out of nowhere you don't see the light.
Yep.
And you just see darkness.
Yep.
And that's when faith comes in because it's like, I don't know what's next. And so when I was working there, I saw the light. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be in the music business. I'm going to be, I see it. I can do this, and all these things. And then it got to the point where I was doing too much and I was getting the runaround about being like a permanent fixture in the company to the point where I had trained the office manager they hired, like, because I knew how to do I did everything. And it was, God will also spin you in lessons of learning how to let things go.
Yep.
And I've gotten really good at it now. But back in the day, your girl would hold on for dear life because that was my upbringing, was stability. And like, my parents have been together for like more than my lifespan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm used to that stability. And when you become an adult and you're looking for that, and life is not like that. Life is very much you're going to learn today. You're going to learn how to let that shit go. So I went through that experience, briefly tried the artist management route for a little bit post-college. And I realized that it's sometimes hard to manage artists. Because you know, and I understand, especially with the creative process, like sometimes you go through seasons where it's like, I don't really feel like it. I'm not feeling it. But when you got like bills to pay, it's like, I need us to figure something you gonna feel because I don't get paid if you don't get paid. So I ended up, the job that I have now went through a time period where I really didn't understand why, God. Like, why couldn't I be in the creative space how I wanted to be in the creative space? And I am always a hard worker in just about anything that I set my mind to. So I just grew with that company, grew through the ladder, and really saw how like really simple it is to like grow. Because most times people won't just do what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you do the basics, I promise you, you're probably going to be the shining star in just about anything you do, just by doing the basics and showing up. I always say, in the class of adulting, attendance points count. So if you don't show up, it doesn't matter. So just simply showing up allowed me to, what I felt like was God was just protecting me on, you need something to pay your bills, so pay your bills. But I got to actually I got an opportunity to actually manage our largest location in the company. And at first I turned it down because I was like, oh, who wants that stress? Like, I don't want to do it. And God spun it right back around. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I've learned so much in my time here that has really changed my brain and how I think. And I even translate that even into the creative space, where I am big on execution and I like to get things done. But this position has taught me the value of getting things done through people and with people and working together. Community. So now that I'm in a space where I'm cool with continuing to grow from the corporate ladder, but now I'm at a place where I'm spending more time on my creativity, my arts, my entrepreneurial side. And part of that side is motion. And motion, the community.
Let's talk about it.
Is still very much a baby, a brainchild that I love, and I'm so excited to see what comes from it. But the idea behind motion is to connect creatives and creation and service, to actually serve our community around us. But to also understand that truly you do need community in just about anything you do, because I'm fiercely independent, but I realize now in life that you do need partnership and in order to get further. Because to your point of what you described about our family, our community of motion, there are photographers and videographers and DJs and makeup artists and singers and creatives. And there's so many different ways to create that now my mindset has shifted through motion and the community that you can, art is really whatever you make it.
100%.
How you set up and arrange your plant, like that is creating. And so now my mindset is not as, and it's still taking a little bit of time to break from the mold of going to a fine art school. It's very fine art.
No.
And fine art means fundamentals and doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And having it done,
Yeah.
like, so fundamentals, like, yeah. But it makes it hard when you actually sit down and you're having to create and you're like, oh, this doesn't look pretty enough, or this doesn't, people won't get it. They won't understand it. And one of our values with motion is that those who get it will get it.
Yep.
Our community will attract.
Yep.
And so we've been in several spaces where, this isn't a good fit. And you have to walk away.
Yeah.
Because it's like our community will find itself. And one of the things, like, we do aim to connect our community through our groove parties, which I appreciate you. If you did not attend Motion at the Green Room, Ear Hustling at the Green Room, my gosh.
Yeah, no, that was
awesome.
Ridiculously good.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it, like you said, motion is going to attract the right motion. It's a certain motion that you got to have. And in the collaboration that we did, the people that came together were the right people.
Yep.
It was the right energy. It was the right space. It was the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Like all that you just described motion as, I felt all of that in that party. And I'm so glad that we're having another one. And I'm sure we're going to have more and more and more and more. But I love connecting creativity, art, and service. Yep. Like, they go hand in hand, I feel like.
Most definitely.
And a lot of times, we naturally, as creatives, want to serve.
Yeah.
That's a part of the release, if you will, because service doesn't just look like going and cleaning up or going and donating. Service looks like also sharing your gift or your talent with somebody that literally is in need of it.
Yep.
And a lot of times people don't realize that they need creativity. And that'd be the missing part.
Yeah.
That's in a lot of these underfunded communities and where the crime rates are higher, I'm a firm believer that if these people had more creative outlets, the crime rates would probably go down because they would have a place to place it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you see trap people on the corner, they can dance, they can rap, they can artist, but they don't have a place to place it.
Yeah. And I think it's also sometimes, especially with social media and how it's able to like touch so many people quickly, I can understand, because sometimes I fall susceptible to it, is creating specifically for consumption.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, okay, well, what if they don't like it? Or what if I get, bad feedback, or, and I remember seeing like somebody that I actually respect on Twitter criticize somebody else's like creative art by saying, oh, you don't have to like do that. And I'm like, some things you should keep to yourself, simply because I feel like we can do better with honoring people where they are in their creative journey and understanding that I just might not get that.
Yeah.
And I can keep scrolling.
Right.
But I don't have to put any type of like negative energy or negative, feedback to it. I could just say, not my taste, but somebody's going to like it. And it doesn't matter if somebody likes it. Did you like it? Did you do it? Did you create it? And did you release it? You did.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
Exactly.
And that's one of the, what I would consider is the pillar of motion, is to create more spaces for creatives to feel like they can incubate and feel safe in releasing. Like for me, our first partnership with Green Room before we did DJ set recordings, and that was my first one.
Period. She killed it, y'all. I really hope you release.
I don't know, but but you know, and it took one of actually my partner that is co-creator in motion, Captain Planet, encouraged me. He was like, you know, music, like learn this. So it was 2 weeks of me sitting down being like, okay, so this button and then this button.
See, I didn't know it was that quickly.
Oh yeah, it was that quickly.
Oh yeah, you fine. She fine.
And so I'm like, all right, cool. And so then I made the realization, I'm like, this is literally like learning a new instrument.
Yes.
And so the same feelings I had with learning piano, seeing my like family in motion also go through the same process of learning and having a safe space to release, and it not being a sense of, oh my God, you messed up.
Right.
Oh my God, how dare, because again, from our days, I'm used to when you're practicing, it's very much a, okay, and again, it's not right, do it again. Versus allowing yourself to create, incubate, and then when you feel comfortable to like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Releasing, you know, and we're continuing to like put our brains together and create our team, which I'm so excited about, to figure out more ways to allow creatives to safely incubate and release, where it feels like community, it feels like you're able to do it in a safe space. And I think even how you describe the feeling and the ambiance that we felt with Ear Hustle, one of our goals is, you know, we're lovers of house music. So we definitely have a style of music that's played, and the intention behind it is to create safe places. And I know that phrase is thrown around a lot, but when we mean safe, we really truly mean like, if you want to come and just like barefoot shout, similar to like church. Church for us growing up,
it was a safe space.
It was a safe space. And it was a place where shouting and those aspects of release, you know, I didn't understand it as a kid. As an adult, but we also, most of us might have trauma associated with church, because I know I do.
Of course.
So that's a goal, is to like create the spaces where you're able to like dance, because people don't dance anymore.
No.
And I think it's because of of just that fear of judgment. Where it's like, you know,
I think that's 100% it. I think that's 100% it. Because why would you not move your body when your body tells you to move it?
Right.
It ain't no way. It ain't no way that I can just stand still.
Especially when the music is going and you feel like I have to. I have to move. And there's not a lot of places like that, especially like in our city, where you can go dance, release, and don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, who's looking at me, or who's, you know, and people may look, you know, but really feeling like overall, whatever you need to release, this is the space to be able to do it. Because being able to create and release, I do feel like is a wellness. One of my favorite YouTubers, Hindsight, he also has a quote that is, creation is the highest form of nutrition.
Oh, I like that.
I love it.
I like that.
Because it's true.
It's definitely a part of taking care of yourself. I could not.
And even when I forget, my body will really back.
It tells you, sit down. And make something, do something, create something, use your gift. Use your gift. Because if it stay idle too long, then you try to go back to it and you can't really do it, then you mad.
And I love how you said it, even when you have the ideas, because that was also something of personal conviction. I'm like an idea generator. You know, I will give you some ideas.
What you just said to me as you walked and sat down, you know, well, we're going to leave that there.
We'll leave it there. But
coming soon to a theater near you.
Oh, it's coming. But I am an idea generator, and ideas for myself personally, I'm like, all right, like I'm in the phase now of how do we get it from making it an idea to making it tangible? Like that's all this year has been about is making ideas tangible. And that also is part of the base of like the creation of motion too, or just what everybody sees as like the groove parties is seeing, okay, there's like a need and a desire for this. Like, what can we do to actually like make this idea tangible? And like we talked about, like sometimes I don't have like a full, I couldn't tell you like a whole, here's our 5-year plan or 10-year plan.
Yeah.
This is very much a, all right, cool. So next month we're going to do this. Oh, okay. And then we met these people and they're,
let's connect the dots.
Let's connect the dots. It's like piecing itself together. And that's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
That's very much a beautiful feeling because
you can really see it unfolding.
Yeah.
You're literally living, experiencing, writing down the plan and making it plain, and you're seeing it come into fruition, and in real time you're consciously seeing what works and doesn't work.
Right.
Because a lot of times I feel like we get into, or we start a new business venture, we're blindly going through the motions of it, right? And when you see something that doesn't work, it's like, well, all right, the whole thing don't work. Let's scrap it.
Oh,
let's scrap it. I've definitely learned that good things take time. And it's so cliche, it's so used, but it's so real. I call this generation the microwave generation. Like, throw stuff in the microwave, it'd be done by 5 minutes, maybe less. But does that meal taste as good as a slow cooked, either a crock pot or a slow cooked oven meal, Sunday dinner? It's so much more flavor. It doesn't taste burnt. You gon' get full and you gon' get the itis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gon' eat good. With microwave, you gonna consume it. That's gonna quench your hunger for those few minutes, and then you're gonna be hungry again soon.
Yeah.
So why not take the time? Take the time, appreciate all of it, the ups, the downs, and understand that that's all a part of the process.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the process. You gotta trust that process. Don't rush that process. But yeah, the slow and steady winning the race, especially when you have a concept as beautiful and as impactful as motion, and what motion, the idea of what motion is. And we're clearly filling a space that was void.
Yeah.
So with something like that, you want to take your time.
Yeah.
Because you want it to have a place. You want it to do what is necessary. And one thing that I also appreciate about the slow and steady wins the race, eating it, I mean, you know, the thing I just talked about. Another thing I appreciate about it is in building slow, you gain true supporters. Like that person that comes to the very first party and they enjoy themselves and they understand and they vibe with the people that are there, they are gonna be there at, if they can, at every single, and then they're gonna tell 2 of their friends, and then the 2 friends are gonna come and they're gonna feel what kind of realness is going on here, and they're gonna tell 2 more of their friends, and then 5, and then it's gonna continue to grow. And that's the type of support that you want.
Most definitely.
It's cool to gain a lot.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
But do you know that you don't know that they are, gonna stay around? When you got them real deal day ones, man. I had some people that I met for the first time. I met for the last ear hustling party. I met this one girl at one of my shows at Apache. Had never met her before. I'm not even sure who she was there to support, but this was my first time ever meeting her. And she followed me after the show, and told me I did a good job, and then we would just like each other's stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was time for ear hustling, and she RSVP, and she ended up inviting 4 of her friends without even coming or having gone to anything motion related before.
Yeah.
She came, she brought 4 of her friends, and then one of her friends that came to the party just RSVP'd for the next one. But that's what I mean about, taking your time to build that community, because the people that are going to be there, they going to be there.
Yeah. I'm all about a grassroots method.
Yes.
I think that's also the part where it's a fine balance, especially like with business. You're trying to, okay, we want to make this dollar amount or make this. And one thing I love about what we're doing is it's not about that.
Right.
Like it is very much about, we see that there's a need for community, and there is value in creating spaces where you can have creative release. And there is also a need to support the community around us through service, whether it is, donation drives or actual community service or civic engagement. And that's one of the things that I'm most excited about with Motion is our commitment to at least driving change in 2 initiatives each year. Whether it's, people experiencing homelessness or, just food deserts, which is something that I'm lack of nutrition and lack of knowledge of nutrition, especially in our communities. But balancing the two, we come together and we create the safe spaces to release and have a good time. And even to your point of what you said, like, you may bring your friends and they may not get it. That's cool.
Right.
You get it.
Yes.
You show up.
Yep.
You come and come create your community. Because I remember feeling that, especially when first starting, where I felt like I was inviting people, specifically that I do call friends, and they either weren't showing up or they didn't really like have the oomph about it, as the people that I'm surrounded by now do. And I'm like, I also feel like God will make certain things happen to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you out of like asking the same people, like, hey, I got an event on Thursday, can you come? And it's like, all right, God's like, it's no love lost, but let's step outside your group. Let's actually start to figure out, I don't even know what is the population of this city, but there's a lot of people out there. If your people that you frequent with don't get it and somebody gets it, somebody needs it. And eventually with consistency, it will continue to grow at the pace it's supposed to grow. And I was filled with so much like just joy at the end of the ear hustling with the green room, to just see how many people were like impacted and it's like, oh my gosh,
when's the next one?
What can I do? What do you need?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is awesome. And so it continues to take shape, and I'm excited to see how we continue to transform.
You should be proud.
Most definitely.
You should be very, 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 very proud. I'm proud.
More grateful than proud.
Both.
I feel it.
Yeah. Because I mean, just starting something is hard. Just the start is very, very hard. And just thinking about, because the human in us is like, well, what if they don't like it?
Girl.
That's, and especially in a new endeavor. Like, it's always a little bit of insecurity, it's always a small thought, but that's how I was saying earlier with the affirmations, you combat with an opposing thought, like a completely opposing thought. Like, what if they don't like it? Well, I know it's going to be somebody who does.
Oh yeah.
I know I like it. I know the people that are helping me with this like it. So, all right, let's go. Let's do it. Because I know I'm going to dance. I know I'm going to I know I'm going to sweat. I know, listen, let me tell you, motion, when they say motion, we are moving, baby. We are moving throughout this entire space. Like, I love the movement. Shelby used to dance in middle and high school too.
Listen,
you was in ballet 3?
I was in everything.
4?
I think I stopped at 4 because I got to senior year, and it was like, all right, you have to choose, and it's always gonna be music. Music will always be if I must decide, it's gonna be music.
I keep calling you by your government. Excuse me.
I know,
Mary D.
Listen, everybody's making an adjustment.
Yeah. I got it.
When I'm doing business, is Mary D.
Excuse me.
But when you
I need to edit out your name in here?
I mean, if you can, that's perfect.
Let me see if I can do that.
If you can, it's no big deal.
Let me see. Because I want to respect what you got going on.
I appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you.
I should have asked you that before.
I should have reiterated it before.
Okay.
I'm getting better about that.
Okay. We got Mary D over here next to me. The sun is setting.
It's so beautiful.
And you got you glowing, this ethereal glow over here. Skinny.
Come on.
And let's talk about voice.
Get into it. Yeah.
So me and Mary D were in this group in high school called Voice.
That we created.
Yes.
We created that group.
We used to perform.
Because we used to be called His.
We started as His.
And then we, His with a capital H.
Yes.
We're referencing God.
Yes.
And then we changed the voice because we're like, oh, this is too confusing.
Yeah, because people was like, what?
I think that only worked for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It only worked for her.
Yes, we had our concert and everything. Like, we put on a full concert. So it was me, Mary D. I got it. I'm gonna focus on it and I'm gonna do it every time.
I appreciate
Mary
you.
D.
Yes.
Eric, Dreesy, and Ryan.
Oh my God, Ryan! Yes.
Ryan was an OG member.
Yes.
And then I don't know what
that was
happened.
it.
Ryan, and then William used to be at some of the rehearsals sometimes,
really,
when we was at Eric's house.
Huh.
I mean, but you already said, it's a lot of stuff you don't.
It's
remember.
a lot. Listen,
I think I got a memory like an elephant.
Like I do over a certain threshold of time. Yeah. Once it gets past a certain threshold of time, I don't know. Maybe I need to eat more walnuts. I don't know. It's something. Oh, what did I have for breakfast this morning? Yeah. So it just depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a good time. We would go around to different churches and sing original music written by Eric himself, like, who is a great composer. Yes, I'm talking to you. Is a fabulous composer, and our harmonies were, I honestly do miss singing together simply because I miss harmonizing with people. That know how to harmonize.
Yes. It ain't nothing like I was, so last year I had like this huge spiritual awakening, sitting in this chair, sun was shining on me, I'm crying. Mm-hmm. But I was listening to this group called Tiny Habits. Have you ever heard of them?
Mm-mm.
They're a cappella group, and they all go to Berklee College of Music.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why I had the spiritual awakening, I was triggered by their melodies, their harmonies.
Yeah.
When I heard them, Jamal Moore posted them.
Okay.
And I'm scrolling through Instagram, go to Jamal's story, and I see him post this one video. And he's like, oh my God. And Jamal be knowing all the musical talent. So I love looking at his stories because he always putting people on to something. Anyway.
Nice.
So I played this one video, and I had been asking God for a good cry. I needed like a cleansing cry. I needed one, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting in my beanbag chair in this corner. It was arranged a little bit different. And as I listen to them, I get teary-eyed. And I'm like, nah, all right, Brittany. I replay it, and I start tearing up, like more than just teary-eyed. Start tearing up. I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? So I start going through their Instagram. You watch one reel and take you to the next reel, take you to the next reel. So I'm listening to all of these harmonies. And I get overwhelmed with emotion, like start boo-hoo crying. And I try to stop myself. And I'm like, wait, you just asked for a good cry. So let it out. So I'm scrolling through and I realized that their harmonies remind me of walking through the music hall of Davidson and hearing chorale, or being at an assembly and chorale is doing, like, their harmonies. Dr. Dunaway used to use a lot of dissonance and all of these. And Eric, when he used to create, he used to make us sing with a lot of dissonance.
Yes.
And it's like it shifted me all the way back.
Yeah.
And like I realized how much I miss music. Like, and I needed to run back to music. Yeah. Like run back, run back. I needed to make my way back quick. But I look back at the videos of us, the old videos of us singing, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were singing.
No, for real. And it was like, all right, we're in the corner store. You want a little harmony? Here we go.
Like, and just start.
Yeah. I miss singing with a collective.
Yeah, same.
We need to start.
We do. I mean, we've been trying to do a reunion for the longest time.
We need to.
Yeah.
We need to get that together.
Yeah, we do.
We calling y'all out.
Oh no, Dreesy has been on it.
Oh,
if anything,
Eric,
looking right at you.
You see,
Eric, stay busy.
No, for real.
Eric,
we all do though.
We do. Eric is a 3-week turnaround on a text.
No, for real.
We love you though. I thought I was bad with texts.
Oh!
Do not put Eric on your emergency contacts.
No. You know those memes that go around? If you were somebody was about to shoot you or something like that, you had to call somebody and you knew they wouldn't answer the phone.
Eric.
Who would it be?
Most definitely.
Like, what? I've never met it. But when you are in Eric's face,
oh yeah,
you got Eric's full attention,
full undivided.
You know, and that's another thing that I love about being friends with people for so long. You understand them in ways that you can't. Like, I know. Yeah, I know how my friends are. Like
That's why I say I'm like big on grace.
Yes,
because I remember like deeply going through having like a bit. I'm much better now. Now I have a process because I'm all about execution. Like, okay, if there's a problem, how am I going to execute it? So now I'll at least give myself points in the day to check. I'm still terrible with like Instagram messaging. I do have some friends that they're not letting me go. They still send me stuff. I appreciate it. But just giving people grace, because a lot of times you'll be quick to like take things personal. I'm a big, like, one book that I aim to read at least like once a quarter is the 4 Agreements. Because
I've never read it, but I know all the 4 Agreements.
Oh,
yeah. So but I do want to read it.
I have the book. I will let you borrow it because you cannot. It's like not on any type of audiobook. I don't think. He's like, I know I have a gem. You're gonna buy it. But it's a reminder to like not take things personal because everybody's going through their own thing.
Yes.
And like I'm definitely somebody who identifies more introverted, where it's not that I don't like people or don't like to be around people. It's just I am very much I'm master at incubation.
Yeah.
I'll be home. And because my primary like job right now is so much interaction.
Oh, you need to.
Oh it's my default is like once I'm not in that space, I need like, and my devices, oh my God, I think we took for granted the time period when we didn't have like smartphones and
definitely,
like there's benefit to it. I love my smartphone. Don't take it away. But I think back a lot of the times on like the time period where you had to like be more intentional, even with like phone calls. Like I'm more of a phone call person. And that's something that I've like aimed to do better with my friend group is being better about just picking up the phone and calling because texting can be a lot.
Yeah.
So I give grace to my friends that do take a little bit of time to respond because I know I will also be that friend. And I don't mean anything by it. I'll just sometimes get in the point where I'm like, okay, it's too much. Turn it all off. Throw it all away. I'm going to go sit in silence.
Yeah.
I love silence.
I keep my phone on silent.
Me too.
And I didn't realize this about myself until probably about the last year and a half, probably being in this space by myself, how much silence I need. I think I wonder if it's a musician thing.
Yeah.
Like, since we hear so much so often, I know for me, I get overstimulated by sounds.
Me too.
And I have to, 9 times out of 10, if I'm driving somewhere, I'm driving in silence.
Me too.
I need to be in silence, especially if I'm going, so I got an early call time, going to work. I'm not finna turn on no music. No, give me time with my thoughts. Give me time to be in solitude and silence. And I think I'm a extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
Because to your point, I love people. I love being around people. I understand that people gravitate toward me. And I'm also an empath. Yeah. So once I entertain or I go out and am entertained, after that entertainment session, I need 2 to 3 business days to recoup. Please.
Mine is 4 to 5.
Listen, and however long it takes, and I think, and the older I get, the time gets longer.
Yeah.
I need to recoup. I need to regain. I need to refill my cup.
Same.
And that's so important. I think that people need to not feel guilt about that.
Right.
People need to please do not feel guilty about not wanting to deal with people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that's why it's important to have people in your life that understand you and they take the time to take themselves out of the equation.
Ooh.
Like you got to understand that just like you, people are selfish. And sometimes to their detriment, but it's important to be selfish with you.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, I need time to refill my cup. You can't, if you are on E, you can't be expected to give and it shouldn't be an expectation to always show up.
Yeah.
And not even just physically, but I think society and social media, to your point, smartphones, they have given us so much access to people and people's lives, and it's literally what people are choosing to share with you. They're not even giving you all of it, but social media has given us so much access that and I'm speaking about people in general, not necessarily you and me, or you and you, whatever. Because there's so much access at our fingertips, we feel like we should have that much access in real life. All you got to do is put the shoe on the other foot. Would you want somebody always intruding your space? Would you want somebody always feeling like you have to answer when they call? Would you always?
That's important.
It's important that we if you're watching this podcast, you good people, and you're obviously working on healing and growing and all of those things. But it's important that people know that, I think you said it earlier, everybody got a life. Everybody got their own stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like, and once we realize that, I think it would make life so much easier.
I always know who is not meant to be a part of my tribe just based on that alone.
Yes.
because I'm not perfect by any
Mhm.
means. And I think a lot of times we'll do things and not even think about it. And that's where communication comes
Yep.
in, to still be able to say,
Mhm.
you know, friend, I called you like 3 times. I
Yeah.
want to make sure everything's
Yeah.
okay because it made me feel,
Yeah.
insert however it makes you
Yep.
feel, and being able to have those conversations. Because a lot of times we're all moving through, everybody's fighting their own personal battle.
Yep.
And a lot of times we're not even thinking about
Yep.
each other. We're too busy thinking about, how am I going to survive?
Yep.
How am I going to make whatever it is that's going on in my brain either right, wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're figuring it all out. So
Mhm.
we're not even thinking about, oh my God, I didn't respond to
Yeah.
or think about. So that's why I'm big on grace.
Yeah.
Like I have to, but grace for others, but also grace for myself.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about like the guilt of like wanting to be alone, I literally, Britt, just finished saying like the other day, I had to have a whole pep talk
Mhm.
because I'll have this habit of giving disclosures to myself and to my people as to why, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is why I can't be around, or this is why I have to say no to this,
Mhm.
versus telling myself like, you don't have to have a reason. It could literally simply be, I just don't feel it in my spirit
Yes.
to go today.
Yes.
I don't feel it in my spirit to hang today.
Yep.
You know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's one thing my therapist always says to me is like, that's okay.
Yes.
It's totally okay to
Yes.
not feel like being social or feel like being, you know, around people.
Mhm.
Because to your point, social media shows you what people want
Yeah.
to show you.
Yeah.
But if you're getting lost in kind of like the social media sauce, it will seem like, oh my God, like I'm missing out on so much and I'm not extroverted enough and I'm not, you know, the life of the party enough.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, you can literally just enter a space and still be quiet, still
Yes.
observe.
Yes.
If you feel like talking, talk.
Yes.
Similar to how we are talking about attracting prosperity, abundance. The people that get you and see you will get you and see you.
Yes.
Everybody ain't gonna get it, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And that translates to relationships too.
Mhm.
Like, I think that people dating is about dating. Literally, you trying to figure out what works for you, if you and a person are compatible. And if it don't work out, guess what?
That's
okay.
okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If a job, like I went through a lengthy interview process, and it stemmed over a month, and I knew for sure I was gonna get that job.
Yeah.
For certain. I was so confident, and I got the email and said, hey, we appreciate all the conversations, getting to know you, blah, 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 blah. But we decided to move on with another candidate.
Yeah.
And you know what I had to say? That's okay. Because I understood that something about that wasn't for me.
That's the part.
And like I said, it just translates in so many different ways. That job not being for me could be the same as a friend is not meant to be for you, or a partner is not meant. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I've just understood so much, especially in this year, has taught me that there's so much beauty in the redirection.
Ooh. Actually, I think Dreesy was the one that told me this, but rejection is protection.
Yes.
And it's okay to like life, God will allow certain like guardrails in your life to direct you where it is you're supposed to go.
Yep.
But it can still be hard to accept the rejection, especially when you feel like, nah, God said this one was mine.
Yep.
They wouldn't talk to me for a month.
Yep.
He wouldn't waste my time like that. And then it's like, no, you have to trust, because I think also the hardest part is when you don't see the why in that moment, and releasing. And I go through that too.
Yeah.
Where God will literally have to sit me down and say,
all right.
Now, how many times do I have to show you that I got you?
How many times?
How many times you want to do this? And it's like, no, I want to follow however it is you say I'm supposed to go, even if I don't understand it. That's still tough.
That's that surrender I was talking about earlier. And how at the end of the beginning of the journal, I thought I had surrendered.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing it right. I thought I was, and then I got to the last journal entry and I was like, I thought I was doing something back then, huh? I thought so. Yeah. But I knew that I had surrendered to the circumstances and the situation when I got the email. And when I read that they wanted to move forward, I was like, damn. But that was it.
Yeah.
What? The way my circumstances look, that shouldn't have been my human response. Like, as a human with feelings and with, you know what I'm saying? But I understand, and I think I've always understood just how much God got me.
Come on.
And it's so much power when you really realize and take heed to, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And that's not to say that my faith ain't.
Like, are you sure? You sure? You sure?
We teetering, but it ain't never gone.
Yeah.
I can confidently say I will never lose faith.
Yeah.
Cause the situations, the opportunities, the redirections, the no's that turn to yeses, the community, the love that I constantly feel.
Yeah.
Like I knew when we were in Voice that we were going to be lifelong friends.
Yeah.
I knew that. I could confidently say that because we get each other. We really do understand and get, and we support each other in ways that a lot of people don't have friends. That's tough.
Yeah.
People don't have real friends.
I was going to say real friends.
They don't have real friends.
Yeah.
They don't have real friends. And I feel really bad for people that don't have real friends. If I go out, and like I said, I'm an empath. So when I go out and I'm near a situation where I can tell that if there's a group of girls, and I can tell that if it's 4, I can tell that 3 of them don't really like that last one.
Yeah.
And the last one is oblivious to it.
Yeah.
That makes my heart hurt.
Yeah.
Because why? And I just pray for healing and sight and vision for people that have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I am so blessed to have people like you and like people in my tribe, in my life. Everybody don't have real friends.
And a real tribe.
Yes.
Like, really feel the support.
Yes.
Somebody that you can call on.
Yes.
And I feel the exact same. I'm telling you, like, even again in therapy, my therapist said, well, that little Davidson crew, y'all are something dangerous. I feel like there's something that's like marinating. And I'm like, that's why I said, I'm like, it feels great to, you also know, like, when time, it doesn't matter where you are or how far you are or what's at all. The relationship is solidified. Yep. So it's like, I'm always gonna support anything that you do and always encourage and give honest feedback because I know that is also something that's returned to me. And those things are rare. Yeah. It's rare to have people around you that, whether you reference them as friends, family, that truly do support you, look out for you, care about you, and are going to be able to, what they say in the church, like, stand in the gap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And be, and allow you to be like your authentic self. Yeah. I know that's something that I'm starting to like really pick up on outside of just like the professionally authentic is like, what spaces allow me to be myself.
Yes.
And I want to be around those people more.
Yeah.
I want to be like wrapped in that,
Yeah.
because too much of our lives, especially depending on how you grew up with like your parents, or just even going through education, or even profession, if you choose something other than professionally authentic, it's this mask that you have to like put on for the world, versus being able to be with your tribe and feeling safe enough to like, I kind of need to crumble a little bit today. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like there's going to be judgment or, girl, why you say you got all this other, it's like, you know, perspective is everything. But I definitely feel that release even in that way, where sometimes even for myself, how I journal, I will honor both spaces of myself, where I normally if I feel passionate about something, I will journal my low vibrational self first.
Okay.
I'm going to get out all the whatever, if it's like, you know, just, all right, girl, get it out. You want to vent? Vent. But then I will journal my high vibrational self. That layers in the perspective, layers in the gratitude, layers in, okay, I know you felt like this, but truly it's like this. And then I'll end it on affirmations of things that I want to remind myself as I move through the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's also important to allow your safe spaces with your friends to do that too. Where it's like, if you want to call and you want to vent and you just need somebody to listen, I'll listen to you. You know what I'm saying? But I also want us to honor the higher vibrational part of yourself that's going to have perspective around it. But sometimes you just got what we call you got some shit to get off your chest. Got to get off your chest. So
for real. Speaking of getting it off your chest, the gym. That's one of my. So I journal. I love journaling. I'm not in therapy right now, but I was in therapy at the top of this year. My insurance changed and they don't take my insurance. But anyway,
I hate that.
I know for me, and both of us have had like this incredible fitness transformation, whole lifestyle change. And I feel like for both of us, it kind of happened around the same time. And then we saw each other for the first time. It was like, damn, girl, you look good.
You look
damn,
good.
Girl, you look good. But for me, I know that, especially kickboxing, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling frustrated, definitely my frustrated and my mad days, I go in there and I take it all out on the bag. Like, and then if I'm at the gym, I'm doing weights, I'm gonna lift heavy on the days where I'm pissed. Like, I'm going, all of the strength that I got, I'm letting loose. How has fitness been a type of therapy for you?
Definitely exactly how you described, especially on like the weights. And for me, I feel like fitness has been a type of therapy for me, really, from really incorporating it into the lifestyle aspect of it, versus it being, because it started off with, oh, I just want to lose weight.
Same.
I just want to be fine. So if I got to be fine, then I'm going to do, and it's one of those things where it's like compliance versus like commitment. And now like I started to see, of course, you become addicted to the results. You love the results.
Just said that the other day.
you see a little back muscle in your head in a while. See a little bicep.
Shoulders
like,
sitting.
No, your shoulders. I saw you in that dress. I was like, okay, shoulders. I see that. It's a great feeling. But I think I have this other theory where I understand the older that you get, the more that you start to deepen your spiritual journey. And why that's important, you know, because you growing up, you'll see your parents and like, oh, okay, they always want to go to church. They always want that. But I think fitness for me is also now turning into more of like a spiritual journey, because there are days when I don't want to go. There are weeks sometimes where I'm just not feeling this. I'm not getting what I need. And it really is like the prayer and the meditation to actually still do it. So, you know, my personal favorite, which Britt came, I think you actually came to 2 classes.
It was lit. No pun intended.
But I love heated cycling.
Yeah.
And the room is super, super hot. So if you ever done hot yoga, it's that, but
cycling. So just imagine, just imagine.
You're doing the sprints, you're climbing hills. I mean, but the music is pumping and jumping. But for me, a lot of times when I do take friends and they're like, girl, are you nuts? Like, are you crazy? I've been able to really allow that space to serve as my meditation.
Yeah.
So I go in, not so much from like a performative aspect, because I've been a part of gyms where they care more about performance and show up and perform.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and then you hurt yourself and injuries because you're so concentrating on how people are looking at you versus what is it that I need to get from this experience in this moment. And so when I'm in there, I will zone out and really just focus on the breath.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing in life that we can control is our breathing.
Yeah.
And so some people, of course, I'll do it in yoga as well, but especially in spaces like that. But that also translates into every other type of exercise.
Yeah.
I've realized that a lot of times, most of the workouts that we do is really rooted in how you breathe.
Yes. But life.
It's how you breathe.
Yes. Yes.
And going at your pace. Because I know sometimes it's this anxiety too, where you'll go in the gym and you'll start comparing. Like, oh, I can't live like that, or I can't squat that low. And it's like, you're here for your journey. Breathe through it. Make sure that you are safe because you'll have, so I used to have so much gym anxiety, which I know that's like a real thing.
No, it is.
It's like you get in there and it's like, everybody's looking at me. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Everybody actually looking at themselves in the mirror.
Come on.
Ain't nobody looking at you. I know I be looking at myself. Dear girl, you look good.
I be trying to look at myself because don't let the no glasses fool you. I can't see nothing.
Same. Y'all know if I had these things on. What?
I can't see nothing. So if I'm in the gym, I'm trying to see myself. But yeah, so that's really what fitness has been for me. And it's also taken different forms. Like recently I'm into like running and trying to be a runner.
I hate running. Like I hate running. I love cardio.
Hate running.
I hate running.
Now, do you hate running on a treadmill or running outside or just both? You just don't like to run?
Both, but I would prefer to run outside.
Okay.
Because I feel like I would go further because since I'm outside and there's world around me, I'm more inclined to keep going.
Right.
When I'm on a treadmill, I'm just like,
I'm concentrating on this belt skipping.
Yeah, because I'm clumsy. I am clumsy.
Me too. So this year I committed to doing a 5K a quarter.
You did one.
I've done two.
Two. Okay.
My first one
a quarter, right?
Was Race to End Homelessness with the Atlanta Mission. It was 18 degrees outside. You talking about? I got 3 minutes into that race and I was like, I don't think I can't even breathe. I don't think I can do this.
Right, because the air is so cold coming to see.
And it was like the coldest Saturday of the year. I'm like, how did y'all know this? Second one was definitely much more fun. It was like a tacos and tequila 5K. I don't know if I don't do the third quarter, I'm gonna do 2 in the fourth quarter because I refuse to run in this heat.
Yeah,
I refuse. But the next one, we are making it a motion event.
Okay,
because that's also what we're gonna incorporate is actual movement and wellness.
Yep.
So you can run at your own pace.
Okay, I'm gonna do it, guys. Y'all hear it here first. Heard it here first. I'm going to do a 5K with motion.
Excited. Yep. So we're going to do it.
I just said that out.
Yes. And now, so she's committed. Hold her accountable.
Whoa, I just did that. All right.
You got this.
Yeah, I do.
You got this.
Teamwork, ready, dream work.
Makes a dream work. It makes a dream work.
Yeah. Man, when I tell you, I love moving.
Yeah.
I love that y'all named the group Motion. the community.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it was brilliant. I think that it is brilliant. I think that everything that Motion stands for is lit. I'm grateful to be a part of the community.
Yes, you are.
I'm the creatives that are a part of the community are brilliant creatives. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm so proud of you.
Don't make me blush.
No, for real. Like I said, you've been doing the thing since I met you in 6th grade. Like, you have been an exceptional human being since the day that I met you. And I am so grateful to be able to call you friend. I am so grateful for the fact that, like you said, we could potentially, I don't think we are going to do it ever again.
Oh no, we're here.
we went years without speaking through college and a little bit after college, but then when we linked back up, it was just like not a day had passed. And I'm grateful for you being a part of my tribe. I'm grateful for your gifts, your talents. I'm so glad that you share them in the way that you share them. I'm so glad. I'm gonna start calling you El Presidente. Is that everybody call you that? Is that
El Presidente?
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah,
especially...
I mean, because the authority that you have, like, and I don't know if you get showered with words like this often, but
I appreciate it.
You need to. I want to give you your plants or your flowers. I'm gonna say, give you your plants.
I appreciate you. I definitely could do. I'm a very humble person, so I appreciate the reminders, because the love is mutual. Like, you're singing my praises and accolades, and you inspire me in so many ways of, like, just really exploring my creative side and allowing myself the permission to release in whatever form I deem is fit. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because I will sometimes default into being into the space of, it's got to be perfect. Perfection. It's got to be like this. It's got to have this layout. I don't post because it's got to the aesthetic. It's got to be the aesthetic. And it's like, girl, like, you can adjust as many times as you want to, and you inspire me to, like, really I'm here. And hopefully by the time this comes out, I have some actual activity on my personal platform. But you know me, I'm very much a behind the camera type of person.
But now you're in front.
I appreciate you.
Where you belong.
Shoot, my last post is,
I know,
in the green room.
And isn't it your profile picture?
Yes.
Yeah, we made the profile picture in the green room.
Somebody already thought that this was, like, my second time on the podcast, and I was like, no, the space is dope. Britt is dope. Like, I love everything, and just your spirit of, we're gonna make it work.
Yeah,
we're not gonna stop. We may slow down, but we don't stop. And I remember hearing that all the time, especially in working out, from one of my trainers, and that has transferred to just about everything in my life. Because even with, getting it since middle school, it's been very much a lot of slowing down and pausing and taking breaks and being like, all right, now let's go. And so one of the things that I affirm myself is, when you feel like you can run as fast as you can. But when you feel you need a rest, rest as hard as you can.
Woo. Yeah.
You need both.
Yep. And I think God got me resting right now. And it's so frustrating, because I'm so used to running as fast as I can. And I think that's why these opportunities that I thought I was going to get, I'm not getting. Because once I start back running.
Oh, it's a sprint, baby.
Listen. I'm grateful for the foresight to see that.
Yeah.
To know that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But still being diligent in the things that I am doing. So since things have slowed down in other areas, I can focus my attention on in the Green Room podcast, and I can get my interviews done. And then once I edit all of that, I'm good on doing that for now. And then it's gonna be time for something else to start taking shape, you know?
Yep.
God is good.
God is good.
Ooh. I have a question. I have 2 questions that I ask at the end of every episode.
Okay, cool.
So the first question is, what is something that is extremely random or like a random fact, something that either not many people know about you or something that nobody would ever know about you that you could share?
I'm always terrible at icebreakers.
It's okay. Take your time.
Let's think about it.
It could be a random talent. I had a guest on. He told me that he has over like 1,000 beats that he's produced, and I would have never. That's what he does for his like self-care. He'll produce.
Nice.
Like, I'm like, what?
Wow.
Random. So if you could think of something.
Yeah. So I have 2. So first, when you think of like random skill in college, one of my side hustles used to be a deaf captionist. I can type insanely fast. So I would go to class with hearing impaired students and I would basically narrate via computer.
Nah, that's random.
That's random, right?
That's so dope that they would have something like that though.
Right, because a lot of hearing impaired people actually don't like to use sign language. Yeah. They prefer to like read lips. So I've made some really cool connections, took some classes that none of them were in my major. Yeah. And the hardest one was actually a film class. It didn't have any subtitles. I'm over here. As soon as I saw, oh girl, you're taking film? Easy money. Yeah. Walk in and I'm like, Professor, there are no subtitles.
So you just had to listen and translate.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What an adventure.
That was an adventure. Definitely an adventure. Indeed.
Wow.
And then my second, is so one of the goals I have is to be fluent in Spanish. I am working feverishly to be fluent in another language. Yeah. And I wasn't really like super inspired until I went to Spain. And when you meet people in a different country and they all speak 3 and 4 languages and you're sitting there like, you get humbled quick. Yeah. So I want to go back, and especially when I saw people like that look like us. Yep. And I saw like a group of Black girls that were speaking Spanish in Madrid, and I wanted to run up to them so bad and be like, oh my God, I've been waiting on this. And so I'm committed to mastering, and I'm at the point I can hear it very well, but conversation it's such a vulnerable experience. Yeah. It's vulnerable to like not sound smart and mess up, but I'm in my process with that.
I love those. Yeah. Those were really good. And what was it called? The first?
Deaf captionist.
Wow. I've never heard of that job.
Yeah. I'd never forget. And luckily, shout out to my mama. She made sure if I didn't know how to do anything, I was going to learn how to play the piano and I was going to learn how to type. And I didn't understand until I became an adult. Yeah. When you see some adults picking, and it's like, I can type. I don't even know. It's like triple digits, like words per minute. Like
I can type fast, but I probably ain't got nothing on you.
Like fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
Shout out to
random talents. Miss Linda, shout out to you.
I love my mom.
You're a twin.
Yes. Indeed.
And y'all were twins back then, but the older you get, like it's insane.
Listen, I'm trying to keep up with my mama's fitness journey.
Oh, she out here?
Oh, yeah. My mom has literally lost like 60 pounds just from walking and eating right. And she's so like, I'm like, Mom.
Yeah.
How do you start after me in your beat? Like she's killing it.
I love that.
She's killing it.
Okay, so last question. Answer however, whatever comes to your mind. What does the color green mean to you?
The color green. To me, it means like the first thing that comes to my mind is vegetation and just in life. And I can't help but think of plants and also money.
Yeah.
You know, we think of green, money. But when I think about even in both, like just the abundance of if you care and nurture, how it will grow. And of course, thinking about plants with green, because I too am a plant mom, not as profound as this child.
You got some beautiful plants though.
But wait till I get to this level where I can lease out some plants for the green room. That's when I've made it. But it has also taught the value of like nurturing and letting go as you allow it to, as the abundance is coming, like release and surrender, like we talked about. You know, some things you can't control with both money and with plants, you know? So I think the color green reminds me of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Good questions.
Thanks, girl. You know, I do a little something. I told y'all, your favorite podcaster. If I wasn't before, I know I am now.
It's my favorite.
Ooh.
It's my favorite.
Yay.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Likewise, let the people know where they can find you. Tell them where they can find Motion. If there's anything coming up, let them know. This is going to air a little bit after, but if you can think of anything that you want to share with the people, let them know.
Yeah, most definitely. The best way to get in touch or keep up with myself is the Mary D on Instagram. And then for Motion, we are Motion the Community. You can also find us on Instagram, and that's going to be the best places for both things. Got a lot of great events and civic engagement and service coming your way for Motion. So please, we've got a newsletter sign up if you just click the link in our bio. And then for Mary D, I've got some things coming as well. Yeah. So just keep up through IG. Yeah.
Last question. This is unplanned, but where did Mary D come from?
So Mary Domino is actually a nickname of my great grandmother that my mom used to always call me. I won't say why, but she would always reference me as, okay, Mary D, okay, Mary D. So when I got older and I was like, all right, I really want to create a separate alias mentally for myself, that there is Shelby, who is the senior biz ops and keeps up with life. But then Mary D is the creative and mixing creative and business, and is and I'm able to like transform in that space. So that way in my mind, I can shift. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? I can shift however I need to, just depending on the space I'm in.
I love that.
You know, I always say we're chameleons of life.
Yes, we are.
Yes, indeed.
And there you have it, folks. We have Mary D in the green room for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in for yet another episode of In the Green Room Podcast Season 2. If you want to, not if you want to, follow us on Instagram at In the Green Room Podcast. Follow us on Twitter _ In the Green Room Pod. You can also follow me on Instagram, Brittany Shanae, BrittaneyShanae. If you go to my website, you can also sign up for my email blast that come out. I share things about the podcast. I share things about my business. I share things about makeup, press-ons, just everything that has to do with Brittany Shanae and In the Green Room. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in on yet another podcast. Let them know what your affirmations are one more time so they can take them through the week.
Most definitely. I attract prosperity and abundance effortlessly.
Effortlessly.
And then I realize what is right about my life outnumbers what I perceive to be wrong about my life. I choose to focus on what makes me feel good. I am grateful.
I am grateful. I love y'all. No problem. I love you too. And I will see y'all next week. Bye. Make sure you join us next week, same place, same time, for yet another episode of In the Green Room podcast. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Spotify.